Well, I really had a feeling that history was being made,
Mm.
that a lot of smart people were getting together with open minds to really put their heads together. There was a lot of history, people who have been in the field of compulsive sexual behavior, sex addiction, impulsivity, compulsivity, out of control sexual behavior, the evolution of all the names. We had a lot of different people from all the way back kind of contributing their thoughts, and this whole new batch of therapists putting their own fresh minds into it. And it really feels like we're creating something. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds extremely exciting.
It was.
Yeah, so I heard that you taught the couples therapy part of this weekend.
Correct.
So, what was something that you hoped the participants learned?
Well, what I really wanted the participants to learn is that certainly in the theory and practice around sex addiction and the most sort of prevalent sex addiction model, there's a perpetrator and a victim in the couple. And I really, really don't see it that way. See all couples therapy and couples work in terms of dynamics. So each partner has their 50% of the difficulty. And even though the partner of the compulsive, the one with the sexual behaviors that are being targeted, the partner doesn't cause the problem. There are dynamics between them that keep it in play. And in the larger world, and certainly in the sex addiction model, the partners are such martyrs and victims and really don't take responsibility for their contribution to the difficulties in the relationship. So that was a big point that I wanted to get across, that we as therapists are working with dynamics, and we want to be equidistant with the two partners and not see it as one of my couples used to say. He was, when he was in another kind of therapy, he was viewed as the bad dog, and she was like a victim. And it was terrible and very destructive.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I think as a couples therapist, whenever you deal with any type of issue of infidelity, you approach it the same way. And so why not approach, sex addiction or out of control sexual behavior and compulsivity the same way, where you get both partners to take responsibility for what's going on?
And it's a hard sell because a lot of these, and I work primarily with straight people around this issue, and usually it's the male that has the sexual behavior that's in question, and the female is the sort of endurer and the suffering victim. And boy, it's a hard sell that they have any part of it at all. They really don't want to. They don't want to hear that. So that can be a big part of what we have to accomplish in the couples therapy, is getting the partner on board. I had the privilege of co-facilitating the process group.
Mhm.
One thing that was special about this institute was it was 3.5 days. At the end of each day, we had a process group where the entire community of participants, all the attendees, were invited to talk about their feelings and associations and their personal responses to the material, which was very diverse. And we had such a diverse panel of presenters that, of course, people had a lot of feelings, including the people who came from the more traditional sex addiction model, who had a lot of feelings about being exposed to a very different approach. So it was deeply connecting between people. That was very moving to me. And I don't think I've ever been to, apart from a SAR perhaps, a meeting, a training that was so personally connecting of the many different diverse participants. So that was a real wonderful takeaway, that people were inspired and also had made really nice connections with each other. and as well as with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was something that was really useful that you want to share with the rest of the members of AASECT and any other sex or couples therapists out there dealing with this issue?
Well, I think for me, I've done a lot of group therapy in my career. Came in initially working a lot with women who had been sexually abused. So I did therapy groups with them for 15 years straight. Then I stopped doing groups just because I was getting too old to work late at night. But one thing that was really powerful in the Institute was both the demonstration of group therapy and how powerful the group is around this issue,
Mm.
and also the opportunity to participate in the therapy group as attendees of the Institute, I think was a really important experience for people. And I felt really privileged to be co facilitating with Doug. And Doug is a real
Mhm.
group therapy rock star.
Yeah.
So he's a really, really extremely talented group therapist. So seeing how powerful group therapy is with this work was, I think, an important takeaway.
So that's something that we can all remember, that if we have a couple or an individual struggling with, out of control sexual behavior or compulsivity or, self-identified sex addict, get them in a group that
Yeah. And preferably a group trained in Doug's model.
yes.
Because I don't know, have you read his book?
I have,
Doug's
yeah.
book, and the way he really sort of details what happens in the groups, it's really impressive. And so
Yeah.
he trains people to work as he does, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, and there's new groups popping up all over the place. I know we have a couple here in Texas, and I'm sure there's more in other states. And so really look for the specific group that's trained in that model because
Yes,
it's so
absolutely.
powerful.
And I know for myself, I'm not really looking to offer groups myself anymore, but being reminded how important it is to make that referral around this issue, I think was a really good reminder for me.
So thank you so much, Ruth Cohn, for answering some questions and spending some time with me.
Absolutely. And I want to make a strong pitch for Doug's and Michael's book. If you haven't already done that, which you probably
Some
have,
people have,
because it is so great.
yeah.